Yo guys, we are back and today we are building a wallet tracker. With the launch of the Melania and Trump tokens, I saw that a lot of you guys were posting insider wallet addresses in Discord. So I thought it was a great idea to improve our previous wallet tracker. And also I added some functionality to see if certain wallets holding the same tokens. So that is also a great addition. Again, if you like this, make sure that you like the video. And also if you have questions, put them in the comments, and if you want these questions answered quicker or you want to have access to the source code, then you need to join our Discord server. I will put a link in the description. We have a lot of different channels there. You can talk about the snipers, about the token hunters, but also about the wallet tracker that we will build today. So if you're not in there yet, I will leave the link in the description and I'll hope to see you there. Alright guys, before we jump into the code base itself, I want to show you a quick high-level overview on how a wallet tracker can look like. So our wallet tracker is a function that will call in all the wallet addresses that we specify in the config.ts file. And for all these wallet addresses, we will have a function that is called getWalletTokenHoldings. And that will use the wallet address and then talk to the DAS API using the getTokenAccounts. And that request will actually return all the token accounts associated with that wallet address. So token accounts, they are all the holdings or SPL token holdings associated with the wallet address that we feed it in. So it will reply with all the token accounts, and from these token accounts, we will see the mints. So we will have the mints from all the tokens that a certain wallet is holding. So if we have these mints, we will of course store them in our database so we know how much tokens and what tokens a certain wallet is holding. We will also output the amount of tokens that the wallet is holding, and then we will also see, based on the tokens that we will import and the tokens that we already have, which are new tokens and which tokens are actually removed. And based on that result, hey, we have so much new tokens and we have so much tokens that are being removed, that will also be outputted in our console log. So we will see the wallets that we have with the amount of tokens, and we will also see when a wallet gets a new token added or a new token removed. So next, when we have all these tokens in our database for a certain wallet, and we have it also for other wallets, we will have a function called a get double holdings. And based on some parameters, this function will check if certain wallets hold the same token. And if that is true, then also that we will output in our console. So eventually we will see all the wallets with the amount of SPL tokens that they hold. We will see when they buy or sell a token, and we will also see when certain wallets have the same token or bought the same token. So once we did this initial check or initial run to see which tokens they hold, we will start a WebSocket listener, and that WebSocket listener will listen for account changes. It will subscribe to a function called account subscribe, and that will send us a message every time the Lamport balance for a certain wallet changes. So then we can see like, hey, the Lamport balance for this wallet changes, and then we will take that address for the changed wallet, and we will do the same thing. We will send it back to our get token holdings function, where we will see all the token accounts for that wallet address that changed, and we will execute the same function together all at once. So first we will check all the holdings for all the tokens. Once we have that, we will trigger our WebSocket to listen for changes for these wallets, and if a change occurs for these wallets, then we will go back and check if there is new tokens added or new tokens removed. So that's the whole process for our current wallet tracker, and that's what we will build in this video. Alright, so before we jump into the actual code base, I want to show you what we will make today, and we can start this tracker by running npm run start tracker, and this will start the tracker for all the wallets that we provided in our config file. So again, it will go and fetch all the SPL token holdings and output it for us on the screen here, as you can see. So these are the wallets that we are tracking, and we can see how much tokens each of them is holding. And here we can see the duplicate holdings. So we have a specified limit in this overview. So I said we can also only show like one token at a time. And this token that we can check here is held by 3 of these wallets. And these are our activity logs. So if my wallet in here is also tracked, and I can go, for example, to GMGN, buy 1 or 0.1 Sol really quick. And if we do that, we should also see that transaction once it's bought appear in our wallet tracker. So this is our wallet tracker. This should now receive a notification from the subscription from our Websocket, and any moment it should come in here. So you can see that this wallet added 1 new holding, and this is the token that we bought. So we can click on that again. If we click on this link, that should also bring us to this page, and that's the token that we just bought. And we can do the same exact thing if we would go sell, and we would do 100%. We would sell it straight away, confirm it. You see that it's successfully sold. That also should show up in our wallet tracker here any second. So again, we will receive a notification from our WebSocket endpoint, and that will trigger a function to check our current holdings and see that we just removed this token. So if I would buy a token that any of these wallets hold, then it will of course show again in the duplicate holdings, just like it does for this token. And we can also check out this token here. So then you can see that this token is held by 3 of the wallets that we are tracking. So that's a great indication. If you're tracking any of these wallets and you see that 3 of the wallets or 4 of the wallets actually buy the same token, then you will see it pop up here, and you can go to it and actually check out the token and maybe buy it if you want to do so. So that's the wallet tracker that we will build today. And with that said, let's jump into the code. Alright, so this is our code base for this wallet tracker. And once we run that command that you saw me running, the npm run start tracker, that will trigger this code block here. So first it will trigger the fetch holdings. And fetch holdings is actually the first part of the tracker that I described here, like this part here, where we will fetch all the holdings from the tokens that we are tracking. And the tokens that we are tracking are specified in the config.ts file. And here you can see that we have some settings, but also an array for wallets. And these are the wallets that we are tracking. We provide a name, an address, and also an emoji. So that's the wallets that we are tracking. So if we trigger this function, it will of course trigger this fetch holdings function. And we will go through that. We have a first run parameter to see if this is the first time that we run this function or if it's like the second or third time. So if it's the first time that we run this function, then we will clear our holdings because we will go and check all the token holdings anyway for all the wallets that we are tracking. And to do so, we have a separate function called clear holdings table. And this goes to our database file. And what it will do is just deleting all the holdings that we have for all the wallets that we are currently tracking. So this is only done the first time that we run this function. Next, we will see the wallets that we want to track. So our function is waiting for a string, but it's also optional. So as you can see here, the first time we trigger this function without any parameter. So as it is optional, it will go and check the tokens for all the wallets. But in the future, and we will come back to that later, we can also provide it a certain wallet address to only fetch the tokens for this wallet. So that's what we are checking here. So the wallets that we want to check is the subscribe wallets, and this is a variable that we specify here, and it's config.wallets, and that's all the wallets that I just showed you that we are tracking. But if we have a wallet specified, then we will check that wallet address, compare it to the wallets in the wallets that we are currently tracking, and just replace the array with the array only containing that address. And why do we do it? We do that because then we can keep the same logic down here for all the wallets that we're tracking or only one wallet that we're tracking. And that's just what we are checking here. So if we provide a wallet address, then we will check the token holdings for that wallet address. If we don't specify it, we will check the token holdings for all the wallet addresses. So that's what we are checking here. So once we have specified which wallets we want to track, then we will loop through these wallets. And that's what we do here. For every wallet, we are going to check these things. So first, what we do is extracting the value. So from wallet, we extract the address, the name, and the emoji. And that's what you see here. The name, the address, and the emoji. Because these values we need to proceed in our function. So once we have these, the first thing that we want to do is check if the wallet address is an actual valid wallet address. And what we can do here is just trying to create a new public key from the provided wallet address. And if this succeeds and we don't receive any error, then we know that the wallet address that was been specified is valid. So that's what we do here. So next we check all the token holdings. And for that, we provide the public key to a string, and this is just the wallet address. And remember, we're doing this for every wallet. So now we are checking the first wallet in this array of wallets. So we provided the wallet address, and for this we have a function called getWalletTokenHoldings. So we can look at that. So what does this function do? It will go out and use a API request to our Helios HTTP endpoint. And the method that we will use is getTokenAccounts. And I can show you here in Postman what that will do. We have that function also here. It's called getTokenAccounts, and we will track this wallet. And if we run that, then you can see that it will return all the token accounts for this wallet address. And token accounts is just all the holdings for this wallet. And here you can see that we have the mint. So what we are doing here is this part. So we have the wallet. We have this function getWalletHoldings. Based on that wallet address, we use the DAS API with the getTokenAccounts function to get all the token accounts. And that is this method that we use to receive this data. And that's what you can see here. What we do, we just create a request using Axios with this method, and that will return us all this data. And what we do here is just checking if we actually received the data. Then we store that data in a typesafe function. And again, for an example, here is the data that we will receive, same as I showed here. This is the exact same thing, as you can see. And then, based on these token accounts that we receive, we will do one additional check to make sure that all the holdings that we receive are associated to this owner. And of course they should, but to be sure, we just check it one more time with this one-liner here. And then we will store all these valid holdings in a new typesafe array. So that's what we do here. We check if it's sure that these token holdings are for this wallet. And if we are sure, then we just return all these valid holdings back to our function. And that's what we receive here. All these holdings for this wallet we store in token holdings. And then we check if everything went well, if it's successful. If something went wrong, then we just say, hey, save this log with the message from what went wrong into our action log. And we just continue, which means we go to the next wallet because something went wrong. Then we store all these token holdings in a typesafe variable. And the next thing we will do is add this token holdings data to our holdings log. And the holdings log is just a mapping that we use here. A bit higher up, we created this mapping, and a mapping is just a combination of two strings in this case, which will hold the wallet address and the information, and I will show you what I mean. So now that we have all these token holdings, we want to create a output. And the output that we will create is something like this. And that's what you saw in the demo. We want to show like, hey, this wallet is holding 5 tokens because we know that because we received all the token holdings and we can easily see how many we received. So that's what we do here. The wallet address adds this. The wallet address is the first parameter of our mapping. Then we start creating the output, and that's the wallet name. That's what you see here, the emoji, the inspect text, and the inspect text is what we create here. This is just a clickable link, and that is what we create here. And then we say hold the length of all the tokens that we received, SPL tokens. And then we can really nicely print out this line here for our console. So we just add this to our mapping. So once we did that, we move on. Now that we have all these token holdings data, we want to, of course, store it in our database. And for that, we have a function called update holdings. And what we do here, we just take this key, that wallet address that we are looking at the moment, and all the holdings for this wallet address, and we parse it into this function update holdings. Alright, so update holdings, as the name suggests, will update all the holdings in our database. So this function receives all the new token holdings that we just passed to it and the wallet address. And the first thing that we do here is making a database connection to see if we have something that is open, and if not, we open it. And we also create a table to store the holdings in using this function here on top. That will just try to create the table for us. And if it already exists, then it will just hop over it and return us true to say that, hey, the table already exists. So once we know we have a database and a table to store our holdings in, we move on. And the first thing we do here is get all the current tokens that we have for this wallet in our database. So we want to know like, hey, these are the tokens that this wallet is currently holding. And that's what we do with this one-liner here. And then we just extract all the addresses or the wallet address, the token addresses for the tokens that we are holding. So this is the logic that we use for that. So now we know all the tokens that we are holding for this wallet in our database. The next thing that we do is checking all the incoming holdings. So holdings is what we received here. And for every holding, we will take the token address and we will store it in incoming addresses. So now we know like which token addresses we already have in our database, and we also know which token addresses we just received. And by knowing that, we can move on. So by knowing which tokens we have in our database and which we received, we can actually create a variable added tokens and remove tokens. And we just look at the holdings that we received. And if the holdings that we received does not have the current tokens that we have, that means that tokens have been added. And that's the tokens that we store in here. All the tokens that have been added that are not in our database yet. So tokens that we received but are not in our database. These tokens are new and they are added. The next thing we check is remove tokens, and that's just the other way around. So the current addresses in our database, we just check with the addresses that are incoming, and if there is a mismatch there, then we know that some of these tokens are removed, because we know these addresses for these tokens we have, but the ones that are incoming don't have these anymore, so we know that these tokens are no longer held by that wallet and they are removed tokens. So now we know the tokens that are added and we know the tokens that are removed. So the removed tokens, first we need to remove them from our database, and that's what we do here. We check if we have removed tokens, and if so, we remove them from our database for this wallet. So in our database, we no longer track tokens that this wallet is no longer holding. So that's good. So the next thing we need to do is make sure that all the new tokens, the added tokens, are being added to our database. And what we do here is just insert them into our holdings. And if they are already there, then we just update them, because all these tokens that have been returned, some of them will already be there, but we don't want duplicate records. We want to insert them. And if they already exist, then we just, we update them. We don't do anything. We don't create a new record. And that's what we do with this logic here, adding all the new or existing tokens in our database. And if that is all done, then we create a close statement for our database so that the database is closed as it should. And we return all this information back to our script, the added tokens and the removed tokens, and we say that it went successfully. So that's what we receive here, stored. And stored, if you click on this, you can see is the added and the removed tokens. So that's what we receive here. And if something went wrong, then we will also save it to our action log. But if everything went well, then we move on. So the next thing we check if the script runs for the first time. And we will come back to that later because now we are running the script for the first time. And since we are running it for the first time, we hop over this logic here. All right, the next thing we do is check if we have double holdings. And the first thing we do is emptying our duplicate logs array because we want to remove all the duplicate holdings that we have and check them once again because changes have been made. That's what we do here. And to check all duplicate holdings, we have a function called getDoubleHoldings. And if you click on that, then you can go to a file called wallet tracker. And this is the function that will check this for us. So first, we will check if there is duplicate mints. And for that, we have a database function here. And this will query all the tokens where there is a duplicate. So it will select the mint and the owner for us for every token that has been held by 2 or more wallets. And that's what we receive here. And the output looks like this. So what we will receive is mint 1, owner 1, mint 1, owner 2, mint 2, owner 3, mint 2, owner 4. So we will get all the tokens that have been held by multiple wallets. The next thing we do is having this logic here to transform this structure into a structure like this, because this one is a bit more easily to handle, and we will have a mint, a token, and then all the holders or all the wallets that hold this token. So we receive this by using this function, and then we use this logic to turn this into this. And once that's been done, we return that information back to our script. So that's what we will return here. And if you click on that, you can also see it will return us like success and all the duplicates. And that is what we returned back to this variable here via this function. So if something went wrong, again, we output it in our action logs like, hey, something went wrong. But if everything went well, then we check all these duplicate holdings and we go through them one by one. We have some parameters here that we specified like max row, min holders, and min holders means just how much wallets does this token need to have before you want to show it. So now that it's set to 3 in our settings, this means that a token will be shown as a duplicate holding once 3 or more wallets hold this token. So that's what we specify here, and also the amount of rows that we want to output for duplicate rows. So we then sort our duplicate holdings from big to small because we want to show the ones that with most wallets on top and the ones with less wallets down below. So, and then we take out the amount of max rows, and that's what we do with slice here. The duplicate holdings or double holdings, we just take the first X amount of rows, in this case 10, from these stored duplicate holdings. So we just want to output 10 of them, because if you have like 5 wallets with thousands of tokens, sometimes they have like hundreds of duplicate holdings, and we don't want to show all of them. So that's what we do here with max rows. We just take the first 10 off. And then we also check like, hey, was there more than 10? And then we will display it also in our action log, and we will save it to the log. And then we will get something like this. Duplicate holdings. There are 115 more duplicate holdings. And we will also say like, hey, this token has been held by 3 wallets. So that's what we do here by looping through all these duplicate holdings. And then we call a function show logs, and that is specified here on top. And show logs is just outputting all this information that we stored in our action logs, duplicate logs, and holdings logs. And then you will get something like this. And that's what you saw in the demo, where we show all the wallets with their current holdings, the duplicate holdings that we have, with how much wallets are holding it, how much duplicate holdings there are more, and our action log when a token buys or sells when a wallet buys or sells a token or a holding. So once this function is done, the fetch holdings, then we will trigger our account subscribe stream, and this is our Websocket. And our Websocket is listening for changes for these wallets, just like I showed here earlier. So once we have done this whole block here, the next thing we trigger is our Websocket. And this Websocket will listen to account subscribe. And I can show you what that is here in the documentation. The account subscribe method, it will just listen to notifications when Lampord's data changes for a certain wallet. So this is the method that we will use. That's what we will do here. And we will also do that for every wallet in our config file. So this will trigger this function. It will create a Websocket instance, and the Websocket instance is created by using the Helios Websocket URI, and this is also specified in our environment file here. So you will have to specify your own keys here to make sure that it works. So that's what we do here. We create a Websocket instance. Once it opens, we want to subscribe to the Websocket, because if you use a Websocket, you need to subscribe to it, and that's also documented here. So first thing you need to do is provide these requests. So we need to say like, hey, we want to subscribe to this Websocket for this wallet. And since we have multiple wallets that we want to track, we have to send multiple subscribe messages. So once we subscribed, we will receive something back like this, like, hey, you subscribed successfully. And I can show you what we do here. So once it opens, we take our wallets, subscribe wallets, and for each of these wallets, we create a subscription message, and we say the ID is the wallet address, and this is the wallet address that we want to subscribe to. So remember, ID, wallet address, this is important for later. So for each wallet, we will make a subscription message, and we will send it to our Websocket. So that's what we will do here once the Websocket opens. So then when we start receiving messages from our Websocket, we need to see like, hey, is this a confirmation or is a actual change occurred to a wallet? And that's what we do here. So by using this check here, we can see if it's a confirmation or a Lampord's change. So if it's a confirmation, then we can get the ID. And remember, once we subscribed, we provided an ID and we provided the wallet address. And that's what we will extract here, the wallet, because we will return, it will be returned, as I can show you here, by our subscription response and ID. And in our case, this will be the wallet address. So we have the wallet address, we have the subscription ID, and then we will just log out like, hey, this wallet is now subscribed to the Websocket. And then we will also save the subscription ID and we will match it to a wallet. So what we will take here is this subscription ID and we will match it to the wallet. So next time we receive a message from our Websocket based on the subscription ID, we will know what wallet we want to look for new SPL token holdings. So that's what we do here. In subscriptions is just a map where we say, hey, this subscription ID belongs to this wallet address. So that's what we do here. If it's not a subscription confirmation, because if it's a confirmation, we return and we don't do anything more. But if it's not a subscription confirmation, then it means we received a notification that a wallet has been updated. And what we will do then, we will take that subscription ID that we saved earlier, because we know this subscription received a new update, and we will store it into a message queue, and then we will process that message queue. And this message queue takes all the messages that it received from our WebSocket. It will then take the last one or the first one. You can see Shift removes the first element, and then it will also return. So it will take the first message that it received, and then it will save it in this constant and take the number, because remember, we returned the subscription ID. So based on that subscription ID, we can look into our subscriptions, which we stored here. This is the mapping between the subscription and the wallet address. So we can just look at the subscriptions, and then we have the wallet address. So we know like, hey, this subscription received an update, take the wallet address from that. And if you have the wallet address, fetch it into the fetch holdings functions. And this is the same function that we ran the first time. But remember, now we are providing it an actual wallet address. So we will run this function once again because a update occurred, but now we provided a wallet address. And as I explained earlier, now we will not check every wallet, but we will just check only the wallet address that we provided. So we will replace the array with all the wallets. We will replace it by an array with just the wallet that we provided. And we will move on with all the same logic that we discussed earlier. But remember, now it's not the first run because it ran before. It's the second run or the third run. And now we will look at this logic. So based on the update from the wallet, we got the new holdings back. And now we can also see like, hey, was something added or was something removed? And if something was added, then we will just add that to our action logs. Remember, because now we want to output after it runs once, we want to output like, hey, this wallet bought or removed the token. And that's what we are actually doing here. Like if a token has been added, we will output it on our screen. And we do that by saving it into our action logs. So that's what we do here. And if a token was removed, we do the exact same thing. We save it to our action logs and we go through all the removed tokens and like, hey, this token has been removed. I want to put a log for that. I want to output a log for that. So that's what we do here. So again, we go through checking the double holdings, just as we discussed before. If this is been done for the wallet that we provided, it will again show the logs and we will get an updated list with maybe one SPL token now, maybe new duplicate holdings, and it will also output like, hey, this wallet sold or got one new holding or one less holding. That's what we do here. And remember, our process queue will do this for every message that it receives from our WebSocket, because we are just pushing the messages that we receive into a message queue, and we handle the message queue with this function process queue. So that's how our current wallet tracker works. Again, if you think this is interesting, leave a like, and if you have a question, put them in the comments. I will try to do my best to answer them as soon as possible. But if you want an answer quicker, again, join our Discord. The link will be in the description, and I hope to see you there. And with that said, I'll see you in the next one.